Prior answer.
Your prior answer was to obfuscate.
That one word, obfuscate, is the legal verdict on everything that came before it. To obfuscate is not to deny, it is not to invoke privilege, it is not to say I cannot answer for legal reasons. It is to deliberately make something unclear that is actually simple. A nominee for a senior Department of Justice position had just been asked one question 11 different ways over 5 minutes. Not 11 different questions. One question. Were you part of the Weaponization Working Group? Yes or no? And 11 times, in 11 different formulations, he found a way to not say yes and not say no. Senator Adam Schiff has spent decades as a prosecutor and an oversight legislator. He knows what deliberate evasion looks like. He named it with one word. And what happened in between the question and that verdict is worth watching carefully.
Mr. McDonald, were you part of the DOJ's Weaponization Working Group?
Senator Adam Schiff of California came to this Judiciary Committee hearing with one central question and the background to ask it precisely. He is a former Assistant United States Attorney in the Central District of California. The same prosecutorial experience that gives him the ability to recognize when a witness is deliberately avoiding a question rather than genuinely unable to answer it. He is the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, where he built a documented record of pursuing oversight of executive branch conduct through multiple confrontational political environments. He is a senator who has sat across from hostile witnesses in formal congressional settings, more times than almost anyone in the chamber. The question he is asking today is simple in its form and significant in its implication. The DOJ Weaponization Working Group is a unit that Democrats allege was created to deploy the Department of Justice as a political instrument, to pursue the president's adversaries through investigation and prosecution, while insulating his allies from accountability. If this nominee was part of that group, his role in it is directly relevant to his fitness for the senior Department of Justice position he is seeking Senate confirmation for. All Schiff wants is one word, yes or no. What he got was something that will become one of the most fully documented evasion patterns in recent confirmation hearing history.
Senator, as referenced earlier in some questioning during the hearing today, the Weaponization Working Group as commissioned by the President.
A simple yes or no would do. Were you part of the Weaponization Working Group?
Senator, as I referenced earlier in questions before the panel, the Weaponization Working Group as commissioned by the President and then the Attorney General
I still haven't gotten an answer. Were you involved with the Weaponization Working Group, yes or no? It's a simple question.
Senator, as I referenced in my prior testimony,
count the evasions. Each time McDonald says, as I referenced earlier, he is redirecting to testimony he has already given. Testimony that apparently also did not contain a direct yes or no answer to this question. That technique is not accidental. It is a deliberate evasion strategy used by witnesses who have been coached to avoid direct answers while appearing cooperative. The phrase, as I referenced earlier, has a specific function. It implies that the question has already been answered, places the burden on the questioner to go find that answer, and prevents the creation of a new, standalone answer on the current record. Schiff recognized this immediately. He told McDonald he was not interested in the prior reference. He specified that a yes or a no would satisfy the question. He asked 4 different times in the first minute whether McDonald was actively refusing to answer. McDonald responded each time with a variation of the same non-answer. That pattern, repeated, structured, systematic, is what Schiff named at the end of this hearing with the word obfuscate. But the exchange was not finished. It had more layers.
You were either involved with it or you weren't.
Senator, as referenced earlier.
Yes or no, Mr. McDonald?
Senator, as I referenced earlier.
I'm not interested in what you referenced earlier. I'm asking you a simple question right now, not earlier, but right now.
He says he is not refusing, but he has not answered. That gap between the claim that he is not refusing and the continued absence of an answer is where the evasion becomes it's most undeniable. If you are genuinely not refusing to answer a binary yes or no question, the proof of that is to answer it. The word yes requires less than a second of spoken time. The word no requires the same. A witness of goodwill who has been asked the same binary question more than 5 times has no legitimate reason to produce anything other than one of those 2 words. If neither of those words has appeared after 4 minutes of questioning, after 5 direct requests, after explicit clarifications, after Schiff specified repeatedly that he was not asking for elaboration, not asking for context, asking only for the word yes or the word no, the operational reality is a refusal regardless of what the witness says about his own intentions. Saying, "I am not refusing," while not answering is the same thing as refusing, stated with an additional layer of denial. Schiff pressed on. He moved to a second category of questions: the DOJ manual, grand jury material, and whether McDonald had witnessed members of the Weaponization Working Group violate departmental policy or federal law.
Were you part of the Weaponization Working Group at Justice, yes or no?
Senator, as
The question about the DOJ manual is narrower and harder to evade than the membership question. The manual is a binding policy document, not a suggestion, not general guidance, but the formal codification of how Department of Justice employees are required to conduct themselves in their official duties. Schiff is asking McDonald whether he personally witnessed members of the Weaponization Working Group behave in ways that violated that document. This is an eyewitness question about specific observed conduct. It does not require McDonald to characterize anyone's intent or draw legal conclusions. It asks whether he saw things happen that the DOJ manual prohibits. Either McDonald witnessed violations or he did not. Either the answer is yes, I did witness conduct that violated the manual, or it is no, I did not. There is no technical complexity, no legal privilege, and no principled reason that makes this question unanswerable for a witness of good faith appearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee. McDonald found a way not to answer it. And then came the moment that no one who had been watching this hearing expected.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking for a simple question. I would ask your help in getting a direct answer. I've asked the witness.
No, I will not assist you.
Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He has been in the United States Senate since 1981. He is the longest-serving Republican senator in American history. He has chaired this committee through multiple administrations, Republican and Democratic, overseeing the confirmation of dozens of federal judges and scores of executive branch officials. The chairman of the Judiciary Committee holds significant authority over the conduct of confirmation hearings. When a senator asks the chairman to help compel a witness to answer a direct question, the chairman has the procedural authority to instruct the witness that the question requires a direct answer, to rule that the question must be answered, or simply to make clear to the witness that evasion will not be tolerated in this room. Grassley's answer to Schiff's request was 4 words: "I will not assist you." Not a ruling on privilege, not a determination that the question was improper or irrelevant, not a procedural objection on behalf of the witness, a simple statement of personal choice. The chairman will not help a Democratic senator get a direct answer from a Republican president's nominee in the chairman's own hearing. Schiff took that in. He processed it on camera. And then he said, what may be the single most memorable line in this entire 5-minute exchange?
Okay. Well, you have the chairman's support in not answering the question, so let me try another question.
That sentence is not angry. It is not shouted. It is delivered with the quiet precision of a former federal prosecutor who has just documented something significant and wants the documentation to be clear. What Schiff is doing in that one sentence is closing a procedural loop for the official record. He is establishing in the congressional transcript, in the record that will be reviewed by every senator who votes on this nomination, that the witness refused to answer direct questions, that the senator asked the chairman to intervene and compel a response, and that the chairman explicitly declined to do so. That three-part sequence is now permanently in the record of this confirmation hearing. Every senator who votes on this nomination will have access to it. The public record will reflect not just the evasions, but the institutional structure that sheltered them. A chairman who would not ask his party's nominee to answer a direct question from the opposing party. Schiff made sure that structure was visible, and then he asked one more question.
Mr. McDonald, did you ever witness anyone in the Weaponization Working Group violate the law? Yes or no?
Senator, I would refer you to my prior question.
I would refer you to my prior answer. That sentence on its own is worth examining carefully. McDonald's prior answers were not answers. They were redirections to testimony he claimed he had already given. Testimony that apparently contained the same non-answers, since Schiff never received a yes or no from any of it. To refer Schiff to a prior answer that was itself a non-answer is to compound the evasion, to create a closed loop in which every question points to a previous evasion, and every evasion is cited as the answer to every subsequent question. That is not testimony. It is the construction of a record that looks like testimony, while containing no actual information. It is the logical endpoint of an obfuscation strategy. The evasions become self-referential. The witness is no longer even pretending to answer, and the entire exercise of congressional oversight has been functionally defeated by 4 words repeated 11 times in different combinations. And it gave Schiff exactly the closing he needed.
Prior answer.
Your prior answer was to obfuscate, and it's become very clear you're unwilling to answer very simple questions, because it's very clear what that weaponization group is all about, and that is using the awesome powers of the Department of Justice to go after the president's enemies. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Obfuscate. That word is the verdict, and Schiff chose it precisely. He did not say McDonald lied. He did not say McDonald perjured himself. He said McDonald obfuscated, which means that McDonald deliberately made simple things unclear. That is an accusation that can be made with evidence. The evidence is the 5 minutes of this hearing that preceded it. 11 questions, 11 evasions, a chairman who refused to intervene, and a final response that pointed to prior non-answers as though they were substantive. And then Schiff named the reason the evasion matters. The Weaponization Working Group, he said, exists to use the Department of Justice to pursue the president's political enemies and shield his political allies. A nominee who will not confirm or deny his membership in that group, Schiff is arguing, has told you something important by his silence. The refusal to answer a simple question is itself information. The record contains the question. It contains 11 non-answers. It contains Grassley's refusal to intervene. It contains, your prior answer was to obfuscate. That record is the hearing. What would you have asked him?